Welcome to Daily Book Insight. Today, we are diving into the key ideas from Think Less, Do More by Peter Hollins. Now, this one is for anyone out there who has ever felt stuck, trapped by your own thoughts, and you're just ready to finally break free and start making some real progress on the things that actually matter.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You've got this amazing idea, this really important goal you want to hit. Maybe it's writing a book, starting a fitness routine, or launching that side project. But just the sheer size of it and that little voice in your head demanding it be perfect from day one, it just freezes you. And you end up stuck in this endless loop of thinking, planning, and researching, but never, ever actually doing.
Well, the book gives this feeling a really powerful name: inertia. It's that state of being mentally stuck, a kind of paralysis. And here's the crazy part: it's not caused by how hard the task is, but by our own minds. We get so obsessed with the idea of a flawless, perfect outcome that we just can't bring ourselves to take that messy, uncertain, and totally necessary first step. Inertia really is the ultimate enemy of progress. And this is the good news, there is a clear way out of this trap. So today, we're going to break down 6 powerful strategies from the book to help you beat inertia. We'll start with the perfectionism trap, then we'll completely flip the script on how motivation works. After that, we'll learn to embrace risk, build some smart productivity systems, work with our body's natural energy, and finally, figure out your very first small step. Okay, first things first, let's tackle the biggest hurdle for pretty much all of us: the perfectionism trap. This is the whole idea that things have to be perfect right from the start. And as we're about to see, that belief is the #1 enemy of ever getting anything done. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We have to accept this as a basic rule of creating anything. No masterpiece starts out perfect. No expert was an expert on their first day. That first step is supposed to feel a little wobbly, a little unstable. Giving yourself permission to just be average or even a bit clumsy at the beginning is the very key that unlocks the door to getting better later on. And look at this. This comparison is just perfect. The perfectionist looks at this huge, intimidating mountain and gets totally paralyzed. A perfect 10-page report. That feels impossible. So what's the easiest thing to do? Nothing. But the doer, they just look at the very first pebble on the path. I'll just write the first paragraph. It doesn't even have to be a good paragraph. The goal isn't about quality at this stage, it's about movement. A 1-hour workout every day is a massive commitment, but 5 minutes of stretching? Come on, anyone can do that. That simple shift is everything. So it all boils down to this simple 3-step process. First, you've got to deliberately lower your standards for your first try. This isn't about aiming to do a bad job. It's about removing that paralyzing pressure. Second, shrink your target. Make the first step so ridiculously small that it feels almost silly not to do it. And third, just begin. Think about a toddler learning to walk. They don't plan the perfect stride. They just take a wobbly step, they fall, they get up, and they try again. They learn by doing, not by thinking about it. We have to get back to that. All right, so now that we've given ourselves permission to start messy, let's blow up one of the biggest myths in productivity. Seriously, we are about to flip a very common belief completely on its head. This is what we all think, right? We sit around waiting for that magical feeling of inspiration, that bolt of motivation to strike us like lightning. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll start that project when I feel creative. Or I'll go to the gym when I'm in the mood. We treat motivation like it's something you have to have before you can do anything. But here it is, the book's absolute game-changing insight. We've got it completely backwards. Action isn't the result of motivation. Action is the source of motivation. Motivation isn't some mystical spark you have to wait for. It's a fire that you build, one small action at a time. And that tiny, imperfect first step we just talked about, that's the kindling. And this slide shows exactly how that fire gets built. It's a really powerful positive feedback loop. You take one tiny action, like just putting on your running shoes. You get a small result. Hey, you're ready to go. This gives you a little hit of accomplishment. So maybe you step outside. That's another small win. You decide to just walk to the end of the block. You've now made real progress. That feeling is motivation, and it makes you want to go a little bit further. This whole process just dismantles self-doubt because you're proving to yourself that this task isn't so scary after all. Okay, so taking action, especially on something new, means stepping into the unknown. And that can feel pretty risky, right? So let's talk about how to reframe one of the biggest mental roadblocks we all face: the fear of taking a risk.
Honestly, our entire potential for growth really comes down to this one mental switch. When we see risk as a threat, our brain just screams danger, and we run back to our comfort zone. We fixate on everything that could go wrong. But when you reframe risk as an opportunity, the whole game changes. You start focusing on what you could gain: new skills, valuable experience, personal growth. Suddenly, failure isn't the end of the world. It's just data. It's feedback for your next try. It's like learning to ride a bike. The risk of falling is real, but the opportunity, the freedom of riding, is so much better. So the main point here is that embracing risk isn't about being reckless. It's not about gambling. It's a smart, structured process. It's about taking calculated risks. First, you analyze. You do your homework, you get the lay of the land. Then you take an informed step forward. And here's the best part. Whether you succeed or fail in that one attempt doesn't even matter that much. Either way, you gain priceless experience. And that experience builds mental resilience. Every single time you step out of your comfort zone, you make it a little bit bigger and you get stronger for the next challenge. All right, so our mindset is right. We're ready to take small steps. We're ready to embrace risk. Now, let's get practical. Let's build our toolkit with 3 really powerful systems from the book to help us work smarter, not just harder. We are all obsessed with our to-do lists, right? But the author argues that a don't-do list is just as important, maybe even more so. This isn't about what you need to achieve, it's about what you need to protect. You are proactively deciding what boundaries you need to put up to guard your most valuable resources: your time, your energy, and your focus. This slide lays it out perfectly. Your to-do list is your map, telling you where to go. But your don't-do list, that's the guardrail, stopping you from driving off a cliff. When you decide no social media before 10 a.m., that isn't about restricting yourself. It's about liberating yourself. You're liberating your best morning focus for your most important work. Deciding not to check emails constantly keeps you from living in a state of distraction, always putting out other people's fires instead of building your own. Okay, next up is a tool that uses a really simple kitchen analogy to help you manage all your competing priorities and finally kill the myth of multitasking. It's called the burner list. I want you to imagine you're a chef with a 4-burner stove. You can't give every single pot your full attention at the same time, right? One dish, the most important one, is on the front burner. It gets all your focus. Other important dishes are on the back burners, just simmering away. They're still making progress, but they don't need your immediate attention. In your life, your front burner is your absolute #1 priority right now. Everything else that's important but not urgent goes on the back burner. This forces you to make a conscious, strategic choice about where your energy goes today. And our final tool is a framework that's designed to fight one of the biggest drains on our mental energy: decision paralysis. It's called the superstructure decision model. The whole idea here is to create a predefined filter for your choices, so you're not starting from zero every single time. So before you take on a new project, you might have a personal checklist of questions like these. First, does this align with my main goal for this quarter? Second, is this the best use of my peak energy? And third, what's the absolute worst case scenario here? By running your choices through a personal checklist like this, you can make confident decisions way faster, and you save all that precious mental energy for the actual work. So we have the tools now. Let's talk about how to use them most effectively by working with our body's natural rhythm instead of constantly fighting against it. I guarantee you've noticed this, even if you didn't know what it was called. There are parts of the day when you feel sharp, you're focused, you're totally in the zone. And then there are other times where you just feel foggy, distracted, and you can't seem to get anything done. Well, that isn't random. That's your ultradian rhythms at work. Our bodies operate in these natural cycles of peak energy, followed by a dip where we need to rest and recover. And this number right here is the key: 90 to 120 minutes. That is your body's natural window for high-performance, deep, focused work. Trying to just power through and work for hours and hours without a break, that's like trying to sprint a marathon. It's completely unsustainable, and it is a fast track to burnout. The most productive people don't fight this reality. They learn to ride these waves. So the goal here is to make a really big shift from time management to energy management. Just for 1 week, observe your own patterns. When do you feel most focused? That's your peak time. You need to guard that time and assign your most difficult front burner task to that window. Then, when you feel your energy naturally start to dip, switch to low effort work like answering emails. And, this is crucial, take real intentional breaks between these cycles. Step away from your desk, stretch, walk around. That allows you to recharge so you're ready for the next wave of high energy. Okay, we've covered the mindset shifts, we've covered the practical tools to help you stop overthinking and finally start doing.
So let's bring it all home with a quick summary and your first, most important call to action. This right here is the entire philosophy in a nutshell. It all starts with that one small imperfect step that shatters the chains of perfectionism. Remember that one single action will spark the real, sustainable motivation you've been waiting for. Learn to see risks not as threats, but as the price you pay for growth. Use simple, powerful systems to bring clarity and focus to your day. And finally, respect your body's own biology by working smarter, not just harder. And this is it. This is where theory becomes reality for you. I want you to genuinely pause and think about this. Not tomorrow, not sometime next week, I mean today. What is the one tiny, ridiculously small, imperfect thing you can do right now to move forward on something that actually matters to you? Is it writing that first sentence? Doing 5 push-ups? Sending that one email? Whatever it is, that is your starting line.
And that's our look into Think Less, Do More. If you found this insight valuable, please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with family and friends who want to upgrade their life. Thanks for watching.